You know what?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Marvel episode of Iron Panther Presents. Today, Chris and Carlton and I shall be discussing the MCU's Mother Day movie, Doctor Strange 2, in the Multiverse of Madness. But anyway, we did a lot of times, saw it 2 times myself. Just want to get my head right. It was cool. But anyway, let's get with Chris. You saw it first. So what did you think?
Are we doing positives or negatives first? What are we doing here?
Let's do positives. Let's start with positive.
Positives? Okay. All right. So I'll start off with positives. And I saw it in D-Box seating, basically where your seat are moving and whatnot, which made the special preview of Top Gun Maverick, the trailer that they showed, that I had no interest in seeing until I saw that the 8-minute preview they showed beforehand. I was like, okay, now I might actually see this now. But anyway, I thought as far as special effects action goes, this is, obviously it's Doctor Strange, so it's going to be all over the place. So I generally liked it. I am, when it comes to Sam Raimi, and hearing that he was not going to go necessarily the Spider-Man route, which I thought was cool, and he was going to instead go towards his roots with the Evil Dead films, in particular Evil Dead 2, which is by far one of my favorite films, is when it comes to the horror-esque comedy type stuff, which is what Sam Raimi is gifted at. I didn't know how much you were going to be able to do in Doctor Strange, and I was shocked in a sense, you know what I mean? Not that I was like scared, but there were a couple of moments where I was like, oh shit. It's like, oh wait, oh damn, oh where'd she go? Oh shit, oh my god. I was like, oh, he just snapped his neck. Oh wait, what? Oh, how's this gonna be on Disney Plus? What? So for that, I applaud Disney for taking a chance of doing a film like this. I noticed ever since they did, I was about to say Thor Ragnarok, but I'll go even earlier than that and say Guardians of the Galaxy. I noticed that the MCU have started to kind of trail off and kind of do like bring in different directors and kind of allowed them, I should say, to go a different route, you know what I mean, from your typical cookie cutter MCU film. And that's what I kind of been respecting in the last few films. There are a few exceptions, Eternals, but generally, I've enjoyed the direction, and this was one of them. Obviously, it has some flaws with this one, which we'll get into for one. But generally speaking, I thought it was a decent film. They didn't in my opinion, I love that they didn't overdo it with the fan service stuff. They had just amount, but one of the complaints I had about Spider-Man was that it might have did too much of that. And this one was just the right bit amount or whatever. So I was good with that. Benedict Cumberbatch was good. What they did with America Chavez was good. A lot of it was rushed. I think they could have made this movie even longer. I think it was just barely at two hours. This movie, I think, should have been much longer because I felt like there's stuff that was cut out. I know that America's character was supposed to be in Spider-Man No Way Home, but it was cut out. I mean, but they had to, but with COVID mess it up. She was supposed to be Ned. I don't know if y'all knew that, but you know how Ned opened up the portals?
Yes.
We did open the portals for the Spider-Man for
yes.
Garfield or whatever.
Yeah.
COVID screwed up where she was supposed to be doing that. It was supposed to be her.
That makes sense.
Supposed to be her, and then she was supposed to become the apprentice, like Doctor Strange was supposed to be like, oh, I can teach you to kind of better your skills, and that's how she becomes the apprentice, which obviously they put in here, and that's why it completely looked rushed in the beginning sequence.
Yeah.
With what with the same that's how it was the Sam Raimi film. Was like in the very beginning, action, just like straight. I'm like, oh damn, okay, we're getting right into it, huh? You know what I mean? But it just seemed very rushed. But knowing that this wasn't supposed to be her introduction in the first place, and I guess that could be forgiven-esque. You know what I mean? But overall, I liked it. I genuinely liked it. So I thought it was cool.
Thank you, Chris. Carlton, you have the floor. What do you think, sir?
Okay, so positives, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, we gonna focus on the positive first, man. I
Okay,
got plenty of
no,
negatives. Let's focus on the positive.
I mean, Chris hit a lot of it for me. I did enjoy the movie. Like one of the things that I did like was the introduction to America Chavez, right, as a character, because she is a very big, important character to the Marvel comics line, like in general. And I want to see the direction that they're going to bring her character into, because she's a very powerful character. I mean, the way that they portrayed her in the movie, it's like, oh, she can make star portals, but she's got so much more than that, right? She's super strong. She has like all these other amazing abilities. And yeah, I did like that. I did like the Sam Raimi elements. So I liked Evil Dead too, but I haven't seen it as much. The movie that I've seen more often is Drag Me to Hell, which is, if you've seen that, like several elements in that movie were present in Multiverse of Madness, and I really liked it, like the comedic horror type elements. I recommend you seeing it if you haven't. But yeah, I really like the direction.
That ghost scene scared the hell out of me, though. That ghost scene when they're doing a seance and then the go. Oh yeah,
right. Well, that's kind of like, yeah. It reminded me.
That reminded me of
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I know we're gonna get into it. I did somewhat like the Illuminati scene. There are some problems with it, but there were things I liked about it. There were things that I called before I watched the movie, right? I was like, knowing who's on the Illuminati in the comics, so like Professor X and Black Bolt and Reed Richards, I was like, I don't know if those. Oh, well, we kind of got confirmation that Professor X was going to be in it, but with Black Bolt and Reed Richards, I was like, not sure. Black Bolt shouldn't be too much of a stretch because they had that shitty ass Inhuman show, so they could, easily get Anson Mount to do it. He's obviously not going to have a big speaking role because, but I kind of liked the way that they offed some of those characters, especially Black Bolt.
Yeah. Creative.
I was like cracking the fuck up in the movie theater. I'm sorry. Yeah. It was funny. Let's see what else. Yeah, story-wise, I thought it was fine. I felt like it was a little lackluster in some places. It did seem rushed. For me, it seemed rushed towards the end. Especially like when he kind of shows up and has to fight his
doppelganger.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought that fight scene was a cool scene with the music notes. It was very interesting. It was kind of weird, but it was interesting. I liked it. Yeah, overall, like if I had to rate it, I'd say it was like a good 7.5 out of 10 for me. I know that's kind of generous, but like I didn't think it was horrible. And when we compare it to like some of the recent movies like Eternals, it's like there was like something of a story. And then the post-credit scene with Charlize Theron, right, as I'm guessing
Clea.
It's going to be Clea Strange, or just Clea before she becomes Clea Strange. So yeah. It's going to be kind of interesting where they bring that story. She looked good.
She does not, I mean, hey, man, those African girls do not age. I know they said black don't crack, but I think they mean Africans.
If you from the continent, it doesn't matter.
You're from the continent, all right? Yep, there you go.
I'm sorry, Carlton, please.
No. I mean, that's. I think that's pretty much it. Because I think for me, the rest of it is a lot of critique, and I don't want to bring that up too soon. So yeah.
All right.
What are your thoughts, David?
All right, I said the positives, so that's what I'm gonna focus on right now. Okay. I liked the level of violence in it. Like I like that they showed just like Scarlet Witch like laying waste to people, right? Like I like that because then it further shows how Moon Knight is shit because like they could have did it, and they said fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like they like even within the Marvel, image, right? Like they didn't go Daredevil, but they could have went far enough to where you could have saw what Jack does and that kind of stuff. So I was like, it can be done within the Marvel universe. So I was happy that they let them do that. I liked Kevin Feige said this was shot with 3D in mind, and you could see it like through a lot of scenes. Like if you were able to watch this in 3D, it would have been amazing. Like it was built for that. And I thought that was so like, even though I watched it in 2D, it was still like, oh wow, like this could be a roller coaster ride. Like they could take the same movie, stick it in a machine, and they could be like, this is the next ride in 2024 for Disney World. And like I would be like, yeah. Since they got that Guardians of the Galaxy bullshit, they're promoting. So
why is everything gotta be bullshit with David? Everything gotta be bullshit. He hasn't even rode the ride, but it's already bullshit. It's
Guardians, man. Fuck that ride, dude. Come on, man. It's Guardians. I was like, come on, man. Anyway, so I was like, this could be it. Like this could be like a haunted mansion, like ride thing. Like I was like, they could do it with that. I was happy to see some version of the Illuminati. I don't know who the fuck they were, but I knew they were coming. So I was like, oh, let me see what this looks like. So to see Professor X again, I thought that was cool. The special effects was special effects was awesome. So story wise, damn it. Like
it's a Marvel problem, man. It's a Marvel problem.
They're too big. They're too big. Like the universe is too big for any of this shit to make sense. But positive. Everybody did. I like that Doctor Strange bowed to Wong. Like that really was irritating the fuck out of me. And I had to know that they were going to do a moment where he was like, I too acknowledge that you're the Sorcerer Supreme. And I thought that was an important moment. Like that was genuine. And I like that. So I like the development.
You want to see the white man actually bow down. That's what it was. It was like it's like there you go. It's like that's it. There you go. It is. Yep. Going
back and watching Doctor Strange 1, it was amazing how white people ran like a minority should be led event. Like I was like, it was crazy. Like
he was taking the back seat to allow minorities from Wong to even his girl being with a black dude. He was like,
yeah, damn. I was like,
he's like, damn. I was like, poor Strange.
I was like, bam, bam, bam. No. But like it was cool. Like his powers were cool. Like it took things to the next level, and I was happy with that. And I'm interested. I didn't know who Charlize Theron's character was. Like, I had no fucking clue. But I was like, oh, okay, this may be going somewhere. But she proves no A-list actor can respect themselves if they're not in a Marvel movie. Like it's just every Brad Pitt is coming. Like I'm saying, like Tom Cruise after he does Top Gun 3, he's gonna be like, can I be in a Marvel movie? They're gonna be like, Kevin's gonna be like, you know what, bro? Give me some time. I'll think about it. Like I can see, like they're calling them. They're going, can I get into your movie? And they're like, we're busy for the next 10 years, but I'll get back to you.
Do you think they're gonna give Jared Leto another chance?
Absolutely not. That's Sony.
No.
Sony said, nah. So let's not do that.
But unless they recast him into another role, but
there's no way. Johnny Depp has a better shot.
I hope so.
But Johnny Depp has a better shot.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
Little. But anyway, like I said, I watched it. I watched it twice, like back to back, and I still felt like I didn't feel the time. Like the movie was moving, and I like that too. So like unlike Morbius, where I'm looking at my watch, like how's this movie still going? And it's like, why was it even made? But anyway,
actually, that's my critique. No. I was just saying, no. That was just one of my critiques. But yeah, but no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I thought the pace was cool. Like again, I was kind of tired, so I dozed off a little bit when I watched it again. But I woke up, I was ready. I was like, okay, we good. Like let's get back to Illuminati. Anyway, that's what I thought. So let's get into what they could have done to make it better. And so we will start with Chris. What do you think?
Okay, so we're critiquing now. Okay. So I had this complaint with when they had Doctor Strange and Spider-Man No Way Home. Is it Far From Home? I can't. The last one, the one that just came out a couple months
No Way Home. No Way Home.
Whatever. Anyway, but I hate how it's just a comic book problem, period. Like they do this in DC films too. And it irritates me, right? Where you have a character like Doctor Strange who is completely right in the sense of, like, for example, saying to Peter Parker, like, hey, look, these villains, like, I gotta send them back. That's their fate. You know what I mean? And then the movie itself tries to convince you, no, Strange is in the wrong. Parker is right in the sense of letting them live because that's just the right thing to do. Like, they did that again here in the sense that, like, they try to make it where the first Strange that you see, you know, what they call him, Defender Strange, you know, with the ponytail.
Yeah, with the ponytail.
Like they try to make him like the bad guy, because I thought maybe he was a bad guy too until I understood, like, later on. I was like, no, because they try to make all the Strangers, really, I guess all the Strangers, because like because like the Illuminati was saying, like, all the Strangers, like, you guys are all the same in the sense of basically saying like for the good of the world, of the universes, you know, maybe one person does need to die in order for the rest to live. I mean, he had no problem doing that in an Infinity War, like in the sense of like saying, hey, look, or Endgame, really. Like, everyone cheered and said, oh, okay, well, yeah, you know, Robert Downey Jr. I mean, Stark had to go, you know what I mean, in order for everyone to live. That was fine, you know, like Strange get like saying, hey, your sacrifice is what's meant for everyone. I'm sorry, Chavez's sacrifice was meant for everyone because he wanted to save her life. Now he read from the book, from the dark hold, and now we're having universes now collide because of that. Where if it was just from Chavez's natural energy of open up the universes, right? Even if Scarlet Witch just used her powers or whatnot, it wouldn't have had this excursion that's about to happen, which ironically I love, because that means we're getting Secret Wars. But let's be, as far as a plot goes, like, Strange would have like made it where it was like, yeah, a kid died in the process of this, but billions of people are not now dead, as well as the Illuminati are still alive now and all this other shit, because Scarlet Witches went to all kinds of universes and just start killing mofos. You know what I mean? So I just hate that they do that. Like, and then obviously in this one, they try to make it where it was like Strange is all of a sudden like, oh, I trust you, kid, you know, which is cool and all. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure Peter Parker was probably like looking in the background somewhere like, you couldn't do that to me. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's, to me, that's the biggest complaint I had about this movie. There was another one. There was,
well, let's focus on that. Let's focus on that. The perspective that Doctor Strange was the bigger threat, as opposed to planet killing Scarlet Witch, which made no damn sense to me either. But that kind of drove a lot of the movie, actually, as you pointed out. So, Carlton, what did you think? Did you think of that perspective? Was Doctor Strange wrongfully portrayed?
Like, in general, like, I mean,
you got to go from strange to strange, because all of them had different problems. I would say you can't say. I personally, you can't have the same opinion. I don't have the same opinion about all the Strangers represented in this thing.
Right. So I think with that concept, like, we were told that, right, but we weren't really shown, like, across the board, like, how that was really applicable. I mean, we had hints of that 838 Strange, right? Like, he sacrificed himself, but really he was like fucking horrible, right? Because he caused the incursion, right? And then we had the other Strange that was up in his little Tower of Doom, right? And his third eyeball, right? But we don't, they said like all of the Stranges across the multiverses. So we only had like a few examples to like to glean from, right? So we can't really say, oh, they're all evil, they're all selfish, they're all wanting like power or whatever. Because obviously the one Strange that we know from 616 is essentially the exception, right? And they kind of acknowledge and recognize that. Christine Palmer says, you're not like the rest, but it took her like 45 minutes, an hour to get to that point. Like, yeah, it's like, why? What changed your mind? And I mean, there were some things that like she saw, but she should have been able to sense that. And even America too, she says like, yeah, I've seen them all and you're all different. It's like, why, like, yeah, I kind of have a problem with that too. Like, we don't fully know, we just kind of are told, but I feel like we should have been able to see little glimpses of something, and maybe they have that coming as extra content. I don't know, who knows. But yeah, that is kind of like a problem. I didn't really think about that, but I agree. Some other things I think I had issues with. I mentioned.
I want to do strange. Yeah, I want to do a strange thing.
Strange. Okay.
Yeah. Or so I would say of the 1, 2, 3 strangers, 4 strangers that we saw, right? So Defender Strange, like him first saying, "Hey, I need to take your power to defend this thing." I agree, like as portrayed, right? Like our Strange proved that was not necessary. Like this guy was like, I could do better, right? But they came up with the way story-wise to make that make sense. I mean, I would say he's a Thanos level villain. I mean, so I'm okay with the idea. They were like, this dude may not have made the best decisions, and he was going to kill this girl when you necessarily didn't have to. They
still didn't do a good job though, because now excursions happened because they had to go through the dark hole. He had to get a dark hole, and once you do that, and once you go into the universes, that's what Illuminati tried to say. So no, they still failed, even though everyone was smiling at the end. They failed. They still failed because, if anything, if the first Strange that we saw succeeded, and like I know it would have killed her, it would have killed America and whatnot. Succeeded, no excursion would ever happen. But now we're getting that because there was an alternate way, a dark book, dark hold way that now both Scarlet Witch and now Strange now has, which is why Scarlet Witch is, because we know she ain't dead, but now that's why she's going on the dark path, and now Strange now got the actual eye of Agamotto and the third eye, which means now he's now can look into the dark stuff. So I don't think they succeeded.
Okay, so
this is why Clea had to come out like the homegirl at the end of Super Mario Brothers, but like, hey, I need you. Hey, we got some work to do at the end of Mario Brothers. Then Haskins and John Leguizamo leaves. Sorry. Sorry.
So I'm saying our Doctor Strange for the Illuminati, right? This was so. I guess I want to bring in the Illuminati and how they dealt with the Strangers, right? It didn't make sense to me that they would murder their Strange with Black Bolt when you could just easily just shoot this dude because he's a dude, right? Or how about you imprison him like you did the Strange that we know? Because Professor X, played by Patrick Stewart, his best friend tried to kill him and all of humanity like 4 times. And every single time he just put him in a cage because he said, that's my friend, and I'm just not gonna murder my friend. I'm like, that made no sense. But the other Strange in the Tower of Doom or whatever, this motherfucker caused an incursion, as you could clearly see. He went from planet to planet murdering other strangers, apparently. And the Illuminati didn't do a damn thing. But they're like, shit happens? Like, I'm like...
No, there was no Illuminati where he was from. So I think that was the point. So I was okay with that. I
disagree. The Illuminati was supposed to be a multiverse over situation. They were not just their own thing. Like, Strange created them to manage the multiverse.
No, incorrect. No, in the comic book, absolutely no. But that's not how that was in this movie. What it was they created the Illuminati to stop all the threats from like the Lokis and the Thanos from coming, right? It was like their way of having the top tier versions of the Avengers, except they're just more of like all generals, overseeing folks. It just so happened that you had just like we saw in Infinity War, when Doctor Strange like went into his little comatose state to see the different millions of ways of stopping Thanos. Instead, that version of Strange went the deep end and got the book and actually went and he mind walked, which no other Illuminati could do. Mind walked, and he saw a way to do Thanos, and he got them. And then they saw, the other guys, Reed Richards, Xavier, none of them could get into the other universes. They didn't know, they would need Strange for that. Strange was the only one. And even the way Strange could do it, he can only do it through mind walking, which is why, and that's another thing too, you can't imprison Strange, especially now that he already has gotten to the dark side, because he can, just like we saw with Scarlet Witch, they can escape from anything. At that point, the only way you can deal with him, you can't even do what they did to Hawk and send him to another planet, because he will come right back. So the only way you could deal with him is to kill him, and not just a bullet. No, you need something like a Black Bolt, who like literally a sound of voice would turn you into dust. So I was good with that. To me, I was like, okay, that makes sense.
So I overestimated the point of this Illuminati, because I thought they were like multiverse level defenders. So then I'm like, why?
No, you think of the Watchers? Yeah, I think you think of like the time variant. You think of the time variant authorities, which I love the fact with, I guess, with Loki. Obviously, they got messed. You know, when you saw Homegirl stab, you know, the ancient one or whatever. Yeah. Not the ancient one, or was it the, you know, but Kang, I guess. That, you know, there was no time variant to stop it. They stopped excursions, and can't get that now, because now they're all in disarray of what just happened at the conclusion of Loki. But you know, so no, but the Illuminati doesn't do that, and the Illuminati does not exist in all universes either. You see what I'm saying?
Because that was irritating me. So that's all I'm saying. I would say that was my only thing. Like, they were focused so much on this Strange, but again, I thought killing him was a bit much. If the guy already surrendered and they already had the cuffs on him, so I'm like, why can't you just imprison him? They did not explain what you were explaining, so then the movie should explain that. Because I'm like, this dude looked like.
I don't think, did they have to though? I mean, I didn't.
Yes.
I mean, just watching them. Why? I got it.
That's because you know the comic. There's no way you would have looked at that and would have been like, well, he just would have escaped, and they just would have killed him. No,
he's that powerful. No, I mean, you saw it with Scarlet Witch in this entire film. They tried to stop him, and he got out. You never saw
her with those Illuminati cuffs. Like, you never saw it. It was not explained. You did a good job explaining it. I'm just saying, I did not see that in this movie. I thought that was a bit overkill.
I mean, no. To your point, I do wish the movie was much longer, but that part, I don't know. They need to necessarily added even more of that. But okay,
it takes that's a conversation. That's fucking Professor X going, if we did not kill this dude, he would have escaped and murdered people. Like that's dialogue. That's dialogue.
Well, see, and that's another thing you're forgetting too, though. Illuminati are not great people. See, that's the thing. Like, yeah, like, and if you and that's why I loved about a nice little Easter egg here. Like, the Illuminati is like a lot of things that even in the movie you start to question them, and that's what happens in the comic books. They do some questionable stuff behind each other's backs on purpose, which is what led it into Planet Hawk or World War Hawk and whatnot. They did some horrible stuff, but stuff that they thought was like good, like, and they did stuff without the other folks even knowing. So like Reed Richards would do stuff that maybe Namor didn't even know about, and then there was caused beef and whatnot. What's going on, and Doctor Strange would do the same thing when it comes to the other members of the Illuminati. Like, he would do stuff like and talk to the Fantastic Four without even consulting Reed, like the head, you know what I mean? And so it created this huge fraction, and the Illuminati became like, started out to be heroes, but they were just more like did some really questionable shit. You know what I mean? So
they didn't even flush all that out.
Yeah, so I liked that they kind of threw like little Easter, you know, and that's the thing. I didn't want a whole big old explanation of Illuminati, because this is what I hated about the Spider-Man film, in the sense of just throwing too much fan service stuff. Just give me a little piece of whatnot. You don't throw me a whole bunch of stuff. Let me just see the film for what it is, and not just try, you know what I mean? It's a, you know, but I don't know.
So what did you think about the Illuminati representation? Was it necessary? Did it move forward? Did you say they did better? What do you think?
I to be honest, I don't think they should. So here's the deal. It's going to sound crazy, but in the last month and some change or whatnot, I've been making sure anything I saw of any Doctor Strange, other than the very first trailer of the Doctor Strange 2 trailer, that I think at the end it showed like Sinister Strange or whatnot. I avoided every single trailer, every theories, everything that came out. Even someone tried to Skype me at work the other day and was like, "Oh, did you hear?" And my eyes just diverted like this. And I was like, I don't want to hear it. It's like, whoa, but it's I'm like, nope. So I apparently, like, even in the movie theaters, only, I guess, even when Mondo was talking about like, "Oh, I'm gonna bring you in front of the Illuminati," a couple people clapped, and I was expecting more people to clap. And then I guess I realized like other people already knew. You know, I didn't know the Illuminati. Like, I heard like some rumblings about Professor X, but I had no idea about the Reed Richards thing. I didn't know about none of these guys. But to see them, it was cool. But I was also thinking like, I I don't like, for one, Namor wasn't in it, and I honestly I understand why Namor's not in it, because Namor's obviously supposed to be what, new Black Panther film. So so I mean, obviously you don't want you don't want to have an Iron Man in this, Illuminati. I was okay with what they did, in the sense of like getting them and showing that there was a version of the Illuminati and then destroyed them. I was good with that, even though a lot of people hated it. I was good with it because people won't be holding on to these core members and just be like, oh, well, see these guys. No, nope, you won't. You'll just see another version of them. Thank goodness. You know what I mean? It's just like, nah. It's like there's different universes out there. I was good with that. I was good with it. Don't try to overdo the fan service. That's how you get in trouble. You know what I mean? With all these shows, and make it where it's least about the story and then more about fan service. It's cheap. It's cheap. So,
yeah. What do you think about the Illuminati, Carl?
Yeah. So as I said earlier, I knew that it was going to be a thing, but I didn't know who was going to be on it, and I had suspicions about Professor X and possibly Black Bolt. I, like Chris said, I think for the purpose of the movie and for who they had there, I think they served their purpose. I feel like the one surprise for me was Captain Carter. I kind of didn't understand her being on the Illuminati. Like, I know that she's obviously in the What If series, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for her.
It didn't make sense to me.
I think and then that was straight up for like a What If fan service thing. I think that's
right.
all it was.
And that one, I was just like, yeah, I don't like it. And then like her representation, like, what she could do, her abilities, I was like, this is kind of
very limited. Yeah, I was like,
jetpack. I mean, I get it, but it was like, I didn't really like it. I think their version of Captain Marvel was cool. I like that actress. I can't remember her name. I think it's like Lashana Lynch, but she's in like the most recent Bond movie as the other 007, right? So I think she was cool. I think she got taken out too soon, or not too soon, but like she got taken out too easily. Same thing with Professor X. Like that whole sequence, like you are like the most powerful. I think just under Jean Grey, right? As far as like his mental powers, right? But he got taken out so easily, like in a little whatever sequence. I'm just like, man.
You gotta say though, you gotta at least admit that scene had one of the most badass lines, and be like, "Hey, do you have?" He said, "Hey, listen, I got kids." He's like, "Do they have a mother?" He said, "Yeah, yes." He says, "Good, then they'll have someone that will raise them," and then just destroy them. I was like, people were like horrified like to what he did to him next, but I was like, okay,
yeah,
Elizabeth Olsen. That was the most badass line. I mean, obviously, I like the whole thing about like it's like, hey, he can kill you with just word coming from his mouth, and he's like, what mouth? And then straight up went Beetlejuice on him. The whole like Beetle. And then I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then him screaming inside his mouth.
Yeah,
that I was cracking up. The theater was cracking up. Same thing when Professor X got taken out. I was like, damn, everybody just thought this shit was hilarious. I mean, it is, but so yeah.
Professor X doesn't make sense though. You're right. Professor X didn't make sense. Captain Marvel didn't make sense. Agent Carter definitely that didn't make sense, and I was like,
it did. It was like you said, it was fan service, but it wasn't needed in my opinion. And people can disagree. But to your point, like you said, for this dimension or for this universe, like that's their Illuminati. Actually, what happened to Mordo? I can't even remember what happened. That might have been when I went to the restroom.
No, Mordo was trapped. So he got him into cuffs. So he's still alive. He's just
okay.
trapped.
He is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He is. Yeah. So I'm wondering how that's gonna potentially come into play later. I like their little fight. right? There was some good banter there. How he basically egged him into attacking him was pretty smart.
Yeah.
You know, but
Like,
yeah, the Illuminati thing, I think I don't know if it was necessary. Now that I think about it, it was definitely a fan service thing.
Yep. Yeah.
As executed, it was unnecessary, right? Like it's like, I think it would have been to the point of they need to go because they're not the future, right? You know, like this is not where it's supposed to be. I would have liked to have seen them help Strange in that final fight, like against like the Scarlet Witch and those 3 demon beasts or whatever she had that didn't do shit. Like to see them like kind of take a couple of them out and like die doing it. Like Professor, when he's the only one that reached into Scarlet's mind, into the, you know, into the like the Scarlet Witch's mind, and see that there is a, you know, like a non-crazy version of Wanda in there that's trapped in there. Like that, like there's something to be saved. There's someone to be saved. Like it would have been interesting to see like him and Strange like try to work her to be like, we can separate like the evil from the good, because you know she's not dead, right? It was a waste of time to make us believe that she ain't coming back. So you could have did that, like you could have did that instead, and then have them all just get wiped out. I'm like, what the fuck point was this? Like, how much money did y'all spend for this silly shit? And then I thought Black Bolt dying to his old voice was hilarious until my friend was like, you mean to tell me this dude cannot take
that means
his
he can't cough. He
like,
can't cough from nothing.
Like this is like, that's stupid. Like on a realistic level, he should be able to take his own voice. Like, I mean, this ain't the person.
Hum. He won't be able to hum or nothing.
I mean, like he's never been like, oh shit. Like it's like it was. It looked cool. But then I'm like, dude, you mean to tell me that you're facing a villain that you know is dangerous? Before you like, fuck that girl. Don't worry about her. She ain't shit. And you're like, do you know that our main weapon? This is how our main weapon works before we start fighting. Yeah. So what did you say again? I'm like, how about you use it? How about Black Bolt just does what he's supposed to do? She takes it and it's like, no, bitch. Like, let me show you what I can do. Like that would have made more sense. Like I would have been okay if she would have took his mouth away from him after he tried to kill her. And she's like, no, I'm the Scarlet Witch. And I would have been like, oh, okay. Like that makes sense.
I think they were trying to show how so here. I kind of thought at least this version of Illuminati was maybe not very even on the level of the Avengers level, in the sense that when it came to Thanos, at least, you had at least people dapping up like Thanos a little bit. Like even Captain America with his non-powers and whatnot, he was at least like putting some hands on him and whatnot. And these guys were just like, all right, go Strange, go.
Yeah,
go. We're just like, so maybe they were just like maybe weak to begin with. So then Scarlet Witch was like, okay. And like cheap work, like I don't know, but yeah, I mean, but to be honest, realistically, Black Bolt would have, I think, if Scarlett Johansson didn't have like no shields and whatnot, he would have actually killed her. He would have killed, you know what I mean? Black Bolt, like, yeah, I mean, didn't he basically almost killed Hulk too, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I say this wasn't really meant to be anything. This was just more like, oh look, that's the guy from the ABC show that I only watched 2 episodes of, you know what I mean? So,
to this point, they should have went back and got the original Reed Richards. Like, I would refer that if they're going to go back to Patrick Stewart for the fan service, they should have went back to the original Reed Richards. So then we're not expecting to see this guy in the future. That's where everybody's thinking, well, at least we know who Reed Richards is going to be.
I don't think he, see, that's the thing. I think he's doing a lot of directing and whatnot. I feel like he really only came back because the fans wanted him to see him come back, but I don't think he really is even really interested in like signing no 5, 6 movie contracts. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, a lot of stuff he's trying to do is behind the scenes. Like at one point he did audition for the Captain America role, but he's not even like, even when you look at him now, he's more interested in doing stuff behind the scenes, that it seemed like for this movie it was just more of like doing a favor. You see what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. But even more reason, you bring back the originals. Like if you're gonna go to original, I'm sure the original Reed Richards is perfectly free to do a scene and been like, oh, like people would have been like, oh, I get. Like when I heard Reed Richards was coming, that's what I thought. I'm like, they're gonna go back to the originals, like show that dude, he gets murdered, and then they move on. Like, and then
I think that's why they murdered this one. So it's like, so it can have people like, okay, look, y'all got what y'all wanted, and he's dead. now we can get another Reed Richards. No, seriously, I think that's what it was. Because I really don't. I mean, the actor, even I love the act. I love him. And what's
Quiet,
I mean, not
Quiet Place.
Quiet Place. Yeah, Quiet Place.
Not Stranger
But in
Things.
but no, the movie on the show on Amazon. When he's a CIA agent.
Oh, Jack.
Jack Ryan. Where the fuck is that show at?
Yeah, Jack Ryan. Yeah, I don't know. I thought they were doing another season, but anyway. But because I never really watched The Office, so I couldn't, But I knew, like, seeing him in interviews, he was more interested of doing stuff behind the scenes than anything. That I think it was just more of just shutting people up, and because people for the last couple of years, like, oh, they do. Doing a Fantastic Four movie, they need to have him. They kept saying his name over and over again. And then I think they just came up with a clever idea to say, hey, we can knock out two birds with one stone, give what people want and also kill him so he can still do what he wants. And then people just shut up, And I think it's genius, but then it'll probably upset some people because they would probably want to see him to do other stuff. But if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it.
Right.
What do you think about the absence of Vision? Because that really irritated the shit out of me. Chris, what do you think?
Actually, no, it was the absence of somebody else that I had more of a problem with. I thought about it earlier, and but I think when we started talking about the Illuminati, it kind of distracted me a little bit. I don't know. See, the Vision, I always kind of looked at, especially with Vision, because Vision has a big role to play for when it comes to to the young Avengers and whatnot, kind of help train them. That even with I had more of a problem really with WandaVision now as a whole rather than Vision itself. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm okay with Vision just all because as a left, I feel like he just kind of escaped. You know what I mean? And that was pretty much that. So I was thinking going in the movie, like, is he going to be in the movie? But then I was more concerned of just seeing what they were going to do with the kids with Billy and whatnot. I was more concerned that we didn't really see Wiccan or Speed actually kind of do anything more than even Vision, because I don't know. I mean, they're obviously trying to set up the young Avengers, the young Avengers, especially with now that they got the She-Hulk show, and there's already kind of rumors saying that Bruce Banner's kid, or he is announced that he has a kid and whatnot, which we all know that's Hawking, and then we already got introduced to Patriot already. Obviously, we got America Chavez.
Kate
Bishop.
Bishop.
We got the new Black Widow. We got Kate Bishop. So I'm thinking like, oh, okay. The only one's missing is Wiccan and Speed, which is supposed to be in the new Captain America movie. And then they were just still the kids. And then so I was more upset more of that than Vision, because Vision winds up having a different role afterwards. Like, yeah, he falls in love with Scarlet Witch, but I guess keeping true to the comics, like he becomes more of more of a mentor, or more like a training. Yeah. So you know what I mean? So but to your point, yeah, I mean, I guess I was looking for him too. There was other issues I had that was more concerning than that, I guess. But yeah.
Carlton, what do you think? You think Vision would have?
I think the lack of Vision in the lack of his presence in this movie helps to kind of push that continued mental deterioration that she goes through. Like in her mind, what she's doing is justified, right? But when she verbalizes, "Oh, I'm doing this, I would never hurt anybody," bitch, you just fucking killed
mad
how many people? Okay, but so I think just having him not in the picture kind of reinforces he's not there to kind of talk her down or talk her out, right? And even then, if he were and did say anything, would she have listened? Would she have just shut up and just disintegrated him? Who knows? Because she's at that point. Yeah, she's at that point where she's got a single focus, and that's all she's focused on, right? And then let's say that last climactic scene where America opens up the portal, and then she's there with her other self and the two kids, right? Let's say he was there, or a version of him was there trying to talk him out of it, right? Like, would she have listened? Probably not. That's just me.
So I think, but I still think, especially trying to make WandaVision relevant, because as Chris' point, like, this movie made me more mad at WandaVision, like how much of a waste of time it was compared to what it should have been, right? To what they were trying to give. Like, that's why I feel like Scarlet Witch's birth was rushed beyond belief. If this is what they're going to give us as, like, this is the Scarlet Witch, the age of the Scarlet Witch, and this is her story, like, I'm like, you wasted 10 hours where you could have been like showing her at that point where she's like, me killing these people was merciful compared to what I did in fucking New Jersey. Like, and they'd be like, oh my God. Like then for Vision was the point of it. Like, he is the reason why she went to New Jersey. He's the reason why she created that city and enslaved all those people. The kids were after effect, right? So to see Vision come back and try to talk her down, and maybe she does vapor, like maybe she's that far gone, right? But maybe it's that makes her go, fuck, like, I took this shit too far. Like, like, he's like, baby, like that would have been something. It would have tied that series together. It would have made that series relevant, like to me. Because that's a big, he's just flying around wherever the fuck. Like,
and he doesn't have his memory, does he? He doesn't have his memory anymore, right? Because
it does. That's not true. Like,
new version.
The new version now, that's why he flew off, because her version like merged her, like the memories, like he unlocked.
Oh, that's right. He did merge it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if they have, I mean, it's clear that they have a future. They're going to have a future with Vision, and I mean, there's such thing. If they kind of plan on maybe in the future having her calm her down in the future, it might be kind of redundant if all of a sudden they do it in every single instance. Like in WandaVision, he had to calm her down. Screw that. Go back to Infinity War. He had to calm her down in that. Had to calm her down WandaVision. And then he would have to calm her down in Doctor Strange too. And then now calm her down in maybe their own standalone movie. You see what I'm saying? Like, if they plan on kind of utilizing them, maybe they're just like, all right, let's at least kind of take a break, like stop looking at the line on the road, and just kind of look up for a second, and then maybe we're gonna return back to the line so you don't fall asleep. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I don't. I mean, like, who knows what goes on Kevin Feige's mind when it comes to, like, the future of some of these characters. I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, and then her looking into, like, I need to find a place where I can be with my kids. I need to be with my kids. I'm like, there has to be a multiverse where Vision is taking care of those kids because you died, and therefore he's a single father, and you can just insert yourself to be like, hey, like, mommy's back. Like, that would have been a story. Like, I mean, you can say, well, there's no conflict in that, but I'm like, there had to be a version of that somewhere, where she easily could have fit in and been like, oh my, instead of trying to murdering herself and be like trying to take her spot, like that was going to work out. And then we talked about this at work too, but like the thought that Doctor Strange said, fuck it, Wanda has just enslaved like a whole town, but she'll work it out. Like, the good will prevail. I'm not going to get involved in that.
Oh no! See, remember? No, they cut that. Remember? Okay, that was remember. Strange was supposed to be in WandaVision. Remember all those hints that we saw with stuff about, like, the the corporation. Like, every time, like, there would be like little ads and whatnot.
Yeah.
The original script had Doctor Strange put in, like, basically kind of like use his magic to put like these little things into the world to kind of wake Wanda up and be like, hey, look. Doesn't this look familiar? Like, doesn't this remind you of what happened with Thanos and whatnot? Because remember, Benedict Cumberbatch was supposed to be in WandaVision, right? And they had to cut him out. Remember we talked about this.
Oh, okay. All right,
and then they had to cut him. They had to cut him because of the travel protocols. So they had to cut it and they had to rewrite something else. You know what I mean? So that's why, I mean, so to your point, I think what they should have done with the dialogue in this,
okay,
because I was waiting for this moment. I was hoping that maybe I mean, I don't know how you would be able to save that, because no matter how you would look at it, he would need to be there. But at the same time, I
fucking-
mean, you can't help what you can't help when it comes to COVID, I guess.
How about
So I
this?
don't know.
How about this? How about this? How about this? She's so powerful that he didn't know it happened until he got there. Until he got there, it was like, oh my, you did what the fuck? Like, and he's like, and like when he's like, yeah, I took over this city, and
You did what the fuck?
like, he would have been like that would have I would have felt better about it because now I'm thinking the only time Doctor Strange gets off his ass is when a teenager says, "Hey Doc, I need to get into college," and he said, "You know what? I will fuck up the universe for that." Like, but this is below my pay grade. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And then he should have been on trial for that. They should have been like, the Illuminati should have brought him to trial to be like, you almost caused an incursion by bringing 5 people for 2 universes because a kid wanted to get to college. It made sense at the time. I was like, we locking your happy ass up, bro. Like real shit could have went down. Like that would have made sense. Like that would have tied that movie down.
Oh, the time thing. Oh yeah. I guess it just took place before Loki. I guess if it would take place before Loki, but
this took place after. I thought this took place before Spider-Man, but this actually took place because he specifically mentioned Spider-Man in this. So I'm like, oh, this is taking place after No Way Home. So I'm like, you really should be like getting in trouble for that shit. Like, especially these people are like,
the time variants are busy. Like in the sense of like they not.
I'm saying the Illuminati should have been like, we know what you did.
The Illuminati can only go through different multiverses because of Strange, which is what they're trying to avoid. They're trying to avoid getting with any strangers.
No, I'm saying when they put him on trial and they locked him up, I'm saying instead of locking him up for what they think he could do based on what their coworker did, like he legitimately did some stupid shit that they could be like, this is why you're locked up, and then this would have brought back.
I see. Oh yeah, I think the moment that he opened up that book, I don't even think it would be interesting if he would have had those cuffs again. He would have probably gotten out of those. I think at that point, once he opened up that book when he was with Sinister Strange. I mean, because once he gets that eye, once he becomes big. I mean, not that I'm saying like he's immortal, but that darkness makes it where he can really pretty much almost sustain anything unless he's dealing with someone else that has magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we got to wrap this up because Carlton got some things to do. So, Carlton, any closing thoughts for Spider-Man before we do Moon Knight? So I'd like to get your thoughts on Moon Knight.
Yeah, no, I feel like I said everything I needed to say about this movie. Wasn't horrible, wasn't great. Okay, there is one thing I want to say, like, and I'm going to say this with Moon Knight too. I kind of feel I'm still at a place where I don't know what direction they're trying to bring this to, like how this fits in with the overall current Kang is the main bad guy theme, right? As decent as a movie as it was, I don't know where that leaves us. Now, maybe with the next movie, that'll help, right? The continued theme of like, you fucked up the timelines or whatever, right? Still don't know where that leaves us with this movie. I think that's the last point I wanted to make. Yeah,
I agree. Chris, what about you?
Well, I did. Well, okay, I'll touch. Let me just say these two things. Bruce Campbell, the Bruce cameo, as was a possibly was amazing. I love the fact the whole nice callback to Evil Dead 2 with the whole his hand, like he can't control his hands, and his hands literally is trying to kill him. I love that. And it was funny in the crowd. You could tell who was a big Evil Dead fan because like people there's some of those people just roaring, laughing, like, oh my God, So he's like, oh, it stopped because he was waiting for it to stop. And in the movie, he had to cut off his hand, in order for it to stop. You know what I mean? But then he was like, oh, well, I guess I don't have to do that now. I love that little Easter egg, as well as the small Easter egg when they went to the different universes with America and we saw the Living Tribune. I don't know if you caught that. That was
my friend
pretty cool.
did, yeah. Living
Tribune. I was like, oh wait, that's pretty. I was like, okay, that's cool. And the What If animated stuff. So I'll say that. But what you were saying as far as where we go from here, I mean, they just introduced Clea. So
they did, yeah, and that's why I said
we already know, especially when they were talking about with the whole incursions. We know where this is going. This is Secret Wars, which is what
A TV show.
That's what this is. This has nothing. I don't really think this has really anything to necessarily deal with Kang. Well, I guess it could, but this is to me, it's a huge Easter egg to Doctor Doom as far as what they did, as far as what this now caused. And now this is a big way of introducing Doctor Doom. Now that I don't know, they might make it where it's Kang this time around or whatever. But now that we have this, we're now going to see what happens when the universes have to basically battle each other. And, and I don't know, I guess maybe you will then see like the new Avengers fight. I don't know, maybe mutants or whoever. I don't know.
Right. I just feel like the pacing.
It'll be like another Civil War.
I just feel like the pacing of everything is so far, like we have like junk in the middle. Whereas with Infinity War, we had each movie more or less like had a purpose. I mean, I'd say there are a few throwaways, Thor 2, but like this next thing is just, I feel like it's just not as cohesive. Then
and to Chris's point, it could be COVID. I hate Chris. He always brought that up. Like we were talking.
By next year, no, we can't use that anymore because at that point it's like we've been mask free for like how many, like I know, right?
So I think Chris, to Chris's point, my final things, I thought was completely what So the Christine love story got on my fucking nerves and was completely unnecessary. Yeah. We have seen this woman since the first movie. I know who the fuck she was, and if it wasn't for What If, I still wouldn't have gave a fuck.
Oh, like, you forgot? Oh, you? I
was like, that was the driving storyline for this thing for him, and I'm like, shut up with this. She is not Pepper. Like that's what she's not. They made Doctor Strange the Tony Stark to America Chavez being Peter Parker. The whole like the daddy I never had or the parent that I never had, like that was a thing. I thought that was a bit much. Doctor Strange showing up to my wedding trying to flirt with my wife. I would have whooped his magical ass. Like that's what you don't do. Like I was very upset.
You would have Will Smith him. You would have went up.
I would have been like, keep my wife's name out of your motherfucking mouth. This dude is sitting up there like, hey,
yo, what you gonna do? I'm sorry, Dave, what you gonna do to Doctor Strange? What you gonna do?
Hey, he's not bulletproof.
What you doing?
He's not bulletproof. Like I'm explaining, like he can be hurt, as you can see by his fucked up hands. He can be hurt. Now, like I'm not saying once he gets
that was before.
I'm just like I'm saying you.
Yo, how was he able to punch Mondo?
That's what I'm saying. Like
I forgot about that.
It's like
I was waiting for him to be like
like plot convenience. In the first Doctor Strange. The ancient one said it's the sling ring that gives us the ability to travel the multiverse. Said that. She said our power comes from the multiverse. It comes from the dark dimension. Now all of a sudden you need America Chavez to do it. I'm like, watch your own movie. Like it's not like the black dude should have came back. He should have came back. I thought he was a wasted character. It just didn't like they didn't use him properly. He's still supposed to be going out.
It's within your universe. I think you can open it up within the universe, which is why Doctor Strange was able to bring back everybody in Endgame because they were within the same universe. So I could the sling ring can bring someone from planet Earth to Mars, but you put in another universe that can't happen. Sling ring can't bring it happen, which is why they kind of had to rewrite some of the stuff for Spider-Man and make it where Ned was able to just already have the Spider-Mans in here, or rather than the original idea of having Chavez just like open up a portal and then they come in that way. So
it's just like they mess up. They didn't know where they were going. They made Doctor Strange one, but she did say multiverse versus universe. It's little things like that. It's just little things. I mean, they could have kept it together. So anyway, we'll see if she ever finds her two moms. She should have been doing that instead of making the sling ring bullshit. Like I don't know what that is about. I'm like, you know how to travel the multiverse, and you can travel across Earth. How about you go find your mamas? Like this don't make any sense. I'm like, but they want.
Now that she can master her powers now.
Yes,
or one of her powers.
But she's like, oh, how do I do this, Daddy? It's like, go find your mamas. Like I ain't got time for this. Like I got real shit to deal with. Anyway, that's my life. I'll see.
You want to move on red? Like when it's red, just remember, kids, when you say red light, you go.
don't
walk that street.
Don't listen to Chris and get your ass killed. Like don't please. What? I was like, anyway, we will see you guys for Moon Knight in a second because we want to get Carlton's thoughts on that. So see y'all.